Alright, hi there, this is Steven with Karma Astrology. I'm coming to you live from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Today is Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. It's 10 o'clock a.m. here in Santa Fe, and the moon is going to be in Krittika Nakshatra. As you can see up here, there's the moon MO at the very top of that Taurus section of the chart. And then you can see down here that I wrote this out, that you can see that the moon will be in Krittika Nakshatra until tonight at 11:14 p.m. here in the States. So tomorrow midday if you're in India or in the other side of the world from us here in the States. So that being said, the moon is in Taurus. Officially, you can see it's at about 4 degrees and 27 minutes right now. And the moon is very, very, very happy when it's in the sign of Taurus. So we should be feeling extra grounded, extra peaceful, extra contented, or content on a day like today, because the moon shows how we feel and our kind of anything that we're sensitive to or working to connect with. And Taurus is about pleasure and joy and beauty and trying to create that and enhance that in our lives. So when the moon is in Taurus, we feel extra connected to anything that tastes good, that looks good, that smells good, that sounds good, anything that's pleasing to the senses, and because it gets us down into the state of relaxed calmness and inner peace, which is a lovely feeling and how the moon loves to feel. That being said, it's kind of an interesting part of Taurus because Krittika, that K-R-I, as you can see the 3 letters after the M-O and the degrees and minutes in which the moon is in, Krittika is actually part of the gap, or bridges the gap between Taurus and Aries. So it comes right at the end of Aries and goes into the first 10 degrees of Taurus, probably like the first third of Taurus, let's just say, because each sign is 30 degrees evened out. And so the beginning of Taurus is this transition out of this fiery, passionate, aggressive Aries energy and into the gentle, sweet, kind, pleasure-oriented Taurus energy. And so it kind of, Krittika energy encompasses both of these kind of themes of Aries and Taurus. And it does that through our desire to be pure, to be clear, to find this sort of pure and refined sense of beauty, of pleasure in the Taurus side, more like this pure, refined sense of, I guess, almost like our martial skills, our fighting skills in the Aries side, our ability to defend and protect ourselves or attack as we need, and that kind of clarity of mind that relates to making clear decisions when we're debating or when we're kind of on the battlefield. Those kind of things are very Aries things, and how Krittika relates to Aries. And then coming into Taurus, we're more focused on the beauty of the world, on getting along with other people, on seeing how we all kind of mesh together. So today and the next couple days, including this eclipse we're going to have in a couple days, as you can see, the moon and the sun are getting close together. The moon is approaching the sun. The sun is that SU, third one down. And obviously that Rahu, well, maybe not obviously for some of you, but Rahu is the north node of the moon, and when the sun and the north node or the south node down here come into conjunction with each other, and then the moon rolls around, then we have an eclipse. So right now we're about to have this solar eclipse on early Thursday morning here in the States, late Thursday if you're in the eastern part of the world. That being said, the moon in Taurus feels really good. In Krittika, we want to be clear, we want to be concise, we want to be accurate and truthful, and focus on kind of just the simplicity of beauty, the perfection of, like, I like to look at Krittika as the part of Taurus that loves like ratios, geometric ratios that are kind of universal principles, or at least solar system principles, things that work in our neck of the woods or here on Earth. And so things like the golden ratio and the way that life kind of evolves around the golden ratio, and the ability to self-replicate from, through our genes, and the kind of helix form of our DNA strands. All of these things have these mathematical, very simplistic and refined principles behind them that cause them to create this sort of beauty and this this evolutionary process that that we can really fall in love with and enjoy and find deep pleasure and satisfaction in. So when we create something that is harmonically contained, and something that, when we look at a plant that's kind of growing in that spiral pattern, or we look at the little cellular levels of each, I guess the veins that go through each leaf, we can see these geometric patterns that cause this kind of emotional reaction on a day like today, where we're feeling extra connected and sensitized to that kind of simplistic beauty of the world when the moon is in Krittika. So that's something you can kind of focus on. It's a great day to look at plants or to garden, to think about, nature and how simple and refined it really is in its core. Or Krittika symbolically is shown through the sword or scissors or a razor, because it really wants to cut to the truth and just be very clear and discerning, and have really accurate judgment about everything that we kind of come into contact with. So we really want to know how the world works. We want to be clear about it, and kind of it also relates to our principles in that we want to separate the right from the wrong, and what's moral and what's immoral in an objective standard. None of this relative morality nonsense. It's, the whole universal picture, and the natural laws that run our whole world are universal, and they have their laws. So there's different consequences to our actions when we act in agreement with those laws and when we go against those laws. And there's a lot of debate as to what is really for or against the laws and what the laws really are. But at least I can sum up some of them to you, is from the Egyptian Kybalion, one of the ancient wisdom traditions, obviously from Egypt. They talk about how vibration, polarity, gender, there is karma is another law of universal law or principle, natural law, you could say. There's 7 of them. So, vibration, polarity, there's gender, there's karma, there is correspondence, which means as above and so below. So like the model for the universe is the same model for the atom, and everything within it. Our solar system is that same model, where we have that nucleus and the kind of the bodies or the electrons or the planets, whatever you want to call them, the stars that rotate around this nucleus, whatever it is, and that energetic core and center, and that kind of evolutionary or cyclical process that you can see through polarity and vibration, and they're all kind of creating cycles that are very clear and clearly part of our life in this manifested existence that we are incarnated into. So we have to kind of obey these principles if we want to survive and if we want to thrive in this world in which we live. And Krittika gives us this discerning clarity to see what is the real truth behind this, and where do I need to how do I need to act in order to align with that truth. And it kind of gets us to cut out the bullshit from our life. That kind of razor, that cutting edge, is to clear away some of the trim, some of the fat, some of the extraneous thoughts and emotions and ideas and social constructs that we've kind of filled our minds with, and that we need to kind of let go on a day like today. And Krittika has a lot to do with fire and burning purity. So it's almost like we're taking all of those ideas, we're burning them up. It's a great day to do like a fire meditation, where you close your eyes, you sit in a chair, and you just imagine a big bonfire or a flame, whatever you'd like. And then you kind of toss your insecurities, your fears, all the things that, the constructs of our mind and our thoughts, like I was saying, that are not serving us, that are not in alignment with truth and with natural law. We kind of toss those into the fire, and watch them burn up in the flames in our mind in this kind of meditative state. And that allows us to clear some of our karma away and purify and really get more in touch with the beauty of who we are on a very simplistic, deep, ethereal level. And then the god or the deity associated with Krittika, I like to talk about that as well to give you an idea of this kind of archetypal energy personality of the day, is called Agni. Now, Agni is literally the deified version of fire. So Agni has to do with all that purification that I was just talking about, and Agni kind of comes in and helps us. Agni is actually the digestive tract, that kind of fire that it takes in our stomach and in our intestines to burn up and to use up and to purify all of the different food that we've eaten, the vegetables, the meat, whatever. And so that kind of digestive fire allows us to, translate that food energy into ATP, ETP, all these different energetic kind of molecules and the energy within us. Just looking at that chat. Hey, Sunny, nice to see you in here. Greetings from India. Awesome. I'm here in Santa Fe. It's great to have someone totally across the world. I hope you're having a good evening tonight and that you're purifying, maybe doing a fire ceremony or ritual, as it is very auspicious to do, to pray to Agni and to connect with that kind of energy on a day like today, when the moon is in Krittika. Krittika is also associated with Krittika, another kind of deity, one of the sons of Shiva, this kind of child warrior god. And Krittika, the idea of a child warrior and kind of like an Ender's Game situation, for those who have read that book here in the US or in England, I don't know, is that when a young child doesn't have all of the kind of accumulated karmic mental thoughts and the ideas about from society and from their culture to know what is kind of right and wrong, and or it's just more purified in terms of our ability to act instinctively and intuitively and without any sort of emotional connection or emotional aspect to our martial skills, to our fighting skills. So that's definitely associated with a day like today. This is me a good debater. Sunny asks, could I ask about my future? I appreciate the question a lot, and thanks for interacting, but I try and do these forecasts just to give everyone around the world a general idea of what's going on in the world on a day like today, on each day. And then I do offer personalized readings where I could talk to you all about your personal future. And if you wanted to check out the homepage on my YouTube homepage and you wanted to subscribe, you can see these on a daily basis. But I do offer personalized Vedic astrology readings, Indian astrology readings, Hindu astrology readings, in order to really give you that kind of personal touch, because we each have a different rising sign. We each have a different, aspect to our lives, as you probably know, Sunny. And I just wanted to make this a little more accessible for everyone together. So, going back to Krittika energy, I'll show you what it looks like in the sky, and because this is always a fun aspect of what we do here in Vedic astrology, because Vedic astrology is aligned with the Sidereal Zodiac, and the Sidereal Zodiac is the zodiac which aligns with the actual constellations in the sky, and they kind of average out, that we have two zodiacs basically. We have the Western Zodiac and the Eastern Zodiac in a way, but it's really the Tropical Zodiac, which is based on the seasons, and the Sidereal Zodiac, which is based on the stars and in their orientation. So here in the West we use the seasonal zodiac, and in India we use the star-oriented zodiac. Now it's a little hard to see Krittika right now, but it's actually, if you kind of go above this Taurus, that kind of dashed line that goes straight up where the moon is, perpendicular to it, of course, in the direction of Perseus, that end is a cluster of stars called the Pleiades, or the Pleiades. And the Pleiades are known to basically be this star of information, be the star of these beings, these tall blonde beings that come down and give wisdom to different cultures all around the ancient world and the modern world. If you can channel, if you've heard of Barbara Marciniak, she connects with the Pleiadians. And so these, the Pleiades is associated with this section of the sky, Krittika. So you can kind of, I'll see if I can zoom out or move it a little closer to sunrise so we can see. It's a little too hard to see this time of year on this app because they only like to show you the stars at night here. And as you can see, the moon is getting very close to the sun here, and I'm sure Venus is somewhere in this vicinity. If it kind of, you know, since we, or not Venus, excuse me, Mercury retrograde is somewhere around this. Let's see if I can get to Mercury and see if it's available, if I can find it. Oh no. Oh well. But yeah, you can see that it is in Taurus. That red eye of Aldebaran is down by this Taurus symbol where the sun is, and it's a little before the sun, and the moon is back in the beginning of Taurus here. So that is where it's located, and it's actually pretty cool. The Pleiades are an easy constellation to see in the sky, or star cluster to see, as they are, it's kind of like a faint little cluster of stars, and it's really it's very close to that giant, the red giant called Aldebaran in the middle of Taurus. So if you look, like to think of it as the Pleiades are kind of the hump or the ridge of the back of the bull. And so when if the eye of the bull is Aldebaran, this red giant in Taurus, the hump or the back of the bull is the Pleiades, this faint group of cluster of stars that you can see. It's probably the most clear star cluster that you can see in the sky, so look for that. And look for Mercury around sunrise, I would say, if you're able to see it, depending on how many clouds you are and who you have around you and trees and all that stuff. Alright, so I think, let's see, I'm going to go back to Krittika and talk about the strengths and weaknesses now. So, basically, well, some of the strengths of Krittika are that it gives us this sense of clarity, this ability to see things a little more clearly, to get maybe a broader perspective on things. It helps with our, it gives us a sense of aggression and the ability to kind of attack our problems or attack our inner weaknesses. That's more for the Aries side than the Taurus side, but at least we can refine here in Taurus in a lot of ways. We can work on yeah, any sort of refining process that you're doing or that you need to do in your life, whether that's in your career or at home. You know, we can get a little more detailed, a little more refined right now, and kind of find that cutting edge of that sharp blade of our intellect in a lot of ways. We want to have this sharp intellect, this sense of discernment, to be able to clearly delineate between right and wrong, and our actions and all the other decisions that we need to make and evaluate in our lives. Krittika helps us to kind of gather our strength, gather our integrity, focus on that integrity. Yeah, and through that sense of clarity and through the understanding of proper judgment and you know, wisdom, we can really make a lot of spiritual progress with Krittika. It kind of amps up our energy in a lot of ways. This fire quality is very active, it's very purification oriented. So it can lead to any sort of actions that you do around fire, around hot water, or any sort of thing that that increases the, I guess, the speed in which the molecules move around you, including in your body. That kind of fire principle. You know, the faster something moves, the hotter it gets. So it's all this heat and intensity and burning that we're trying to do to purify on a day like today. So purification is you know, at its prime right now. Purifying our minds, purifying our emotions, purifying our thoughts so that we can have that kind of gentle, calm, relaxed state of being, and so that we can clearly, you know, like Krittika, take on any battle or any sort of debate or argument that we need to in order to, you know, stand up for ourselves or those who we love, but without tearing down the person, having the discernment not to attack the person that we're necessarily going up against more than maybe our own ability to just be clear and concise and to speak clearly to other people. In terms of the shadow qualities now, it can make us stubborn. It can make us a little too aggressive in nature with all that fire. Our emotions can get a little riled up. We can definitely tend to eat more when the moon is in this part of the sky, so it's good if you have weight problems to be conscientious of that and be very, very conscientious of what you put in your mouth, what you put in your body on a day like today. Excuse me. There is, let's see, I'll just skip over to favorable activities. It's a great day to purify. It's a great day to do any sort of fire ceremonies or worship or whatever you like to do. It's good for taking the lead in projects, for executive actions. It's great for cooking, that kind of purification aspect of our food externally. It's fantastic, especially with this Taurus energy. Definitely a great day to cook your own meals and a hot meal and enjoy it and pay attention to how much sustenance and how much energy it gives you, and the whole process of eating and how beautiful it is in a way and how enjoyable it is. It's a great day for that. Good day for fixing things, for kind of sewing and any sort of any making things, just fixing things. Let's just leave it at that. Can't think of another synonym for that right now. It's good for cutting through to things, cutting to the truth, kind of repairing things that need to be trimmed. Good day for yard work in that regard, cutting the lawn, that kind of stuff. It's a good day to be honest and frank. It's auspicious for debating people and choosing to take on the difficult tasks that, disagreements between people, just without getting too fiery and too caught up in that kind of the fire, the passion, the rage, the anger, all those emotions that can really, that fire relates to, that can light us up and get us a little too aggressive. We have to be careful of going overboard today. And then it's not so great for diplomacy and negotiations in a way. It's not a great day for rest and relaxation. It's much more of an active day. Good to, the next 12 hours basically is when it's here. And yeah, that's gonna do it for Krittika. We're gonna have this eclipse coming up pretty soon, which is pretty exciting. It's going to be in Mrigashira. As you can see, the sun is in MRG, Mercury's in MRG, but it's really the sun that matters. And because the moon is going to be joining the sun in a couple days, and we will get to experience that kind of that questing, searching energy that Mrigashira is associated with, where other people don't really understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, but we know deep inside that we need to find some sort of truth, some sort of meaning, and that's what Mrigashira is all about. So think about that over the next couple of days as this energy kind of waxes and the moon gets closer and closer, wanes. Really, technically the moon wanes, but the energy waxes as the moon is getting closer and closer to the sun, and we're kind of building up to that eclipse energy, which are some of the most powerful times of the year. It's a great time to transform. It's a great time to do any sort of spiritual practices that you do. All right, that's it for today. Peace and love. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below if you have any comments, questions, concerns, and then subscribe if you want to see these on a daily basis. Hope you have a fantastic day. Burn it up, and stay calm, stay peaceful, and stay happy. Take care.